The autumn leaves are falling. The frost is on our doorstep. It's time to pick the last flowers of the season. So come with me as I share with you making these beautiful flower arrangements. And welcome back to my garden. Well, today it's kind of a bittersweet day, because today we're going to be doing one of our last, if not the last, couple of bouquets here in the garden. And I've got a couple of brand new vases that I just got to celebrate these bouquets. One is a beautiful ceramic one, and then this glass one as well, that I just love the colors in this glass. Really, really lovely. All right, so let's talk about flowers for just a minute, because it's something we all innately love, right? For the most part. And it's one of the things that I have dedicated my garden primarily to. I do have a couple of veggie beds. I love growing tomatoes, but really it's flowers that bring me the greatest joy in my garden. So saying goodbye to them this time of year, it's always a little hard. And I shared was it last week? I shared about my indoor garden. I've moved some of my geraniums indoors, some of my begonias indoors, some things that I can grow indoors, but things like my zinnias behind me and these cosmos over here and even the marigolds. Yeah, it's a lot more difficult to get those indoors. So it's enjoying them now and remembering that the energy that flowers bring are just amazing. And that's why I encourage you, while it's too late to do it for this year, for those of us in zones like mine, my zone is 6A. And if I haven't told you, and if you have not been to this channel before, my name is Sherry, and I am just outside of Boulder, Colorado. And I have been gardening now for come and go about 40 years, 30 years in this particular garden. And again, started with more veggies, but then moved to flowers, and just flowers have just, the energy of flowers has encompassed my life. This year, I grew dahlias for the very first time. Zinnias are my favorite. Marigolds have become a real favorite of mine too, especially the large African. So we're gonna walk through the garden. We're gonna talk about, what I've seen, what maybe some disappointments along the way, but really just honoring these flowers that blessed my life and the life of others as I built bouquets for them. And just remember this, I really want you to take this away from you from all of this today, is that even if you're not growing your own flowers, flowers are the greatest gift that you can give someone, especially if you can get a beautiful vase or a beautiful presentation of the flowers that you bring as a gift to someone. It perks people up. I love sending them when someone's sick or not feeling good or is sad, because there's, Harvard recently did some research about it, and just how important it is to our mental capacity when we have flowers in our life. It's true. So let's do it. Let's walk around the garden. Let's gather up some flowers. I've got a little basket here somewhere. Where did my basket go? I'll find it here in a minute. And we're going to walk around, and we're just going to really just appreciate flowers for the next 5 or 6 minutes together. And I look forward to taking you with me. Let's go. All right, I'm back. How we'll do this, because I want to enjoy this tour as much as you, to be totally perfectly honest with you, and just tell you the flowers that I'm going to come back and cut. And here in my zinnia bed, my larger zinnias, there's just these beauties. Now these came from Floret Flowers. It was their B something series. I can't remember, but there's so many here that will go into the bouquet, to be sure. Main part of the bouquet, including this one. I absolutely love it. Look at the red in the middle of the yellow. Oh, such a beautiful contrast. And the bees, are still, that one just went in my hair, are still here. And I always feel the worst for the bees, because maybe they're happy because they get to take the winter off. I like to think of it that way too, but I'll be coming through, and there's some that I'm saving for seeds that you can see that have died back, and I'm going to be cutting them and getting the seeds off of them, and I will show them to you either in a short or in another video as we move indoors for the winter. But we've got these cosmos that will go in our bouquet, the calendula. That is just, they really have enjoyed the cold weather. So we'll get the calendula in there. And look at this. This poor rose bush, I got it at the beginning of the summer, and the grasshoppers have just been annihilating it. And it finally came back with one bud. So I'm gonna get that last, maybe even later today, to let it get as close to blooming as it can. This bed is pretty done. There's a few zinnias that have gotten pretty beat up along the way. A lot of it from, like I said, the grasshoppers, but we've got a few. It's interesting at this time of year, they start to get a little wonky and lopsided. There's a pretty one with the weather change. I've got some, what are they, Guardia over here that I would love to take. Not much left in this bed at all. There's a lot of hollyhocks in this bed over the summer, and they really got annihilated by the grasshoppers, to be sure. But let's walk over to the main part of the garden and see what we've got left. This is Nicotiana. These smell so good. They don't do very good as cut flowers. They will die back pretty quick in the vase, but we'll get those. We've got some marigolds. We've got, this is what the dahlias, again from floret seeds that I grew from seed inside. The zinnias I always direct sow them, but that Nicotiana wants to get in there. But these guys I grew from seed, and I will be pulling up the tubers on them and trying that out this year. Again, the grasshoppers were so tough on these guys this year. And as I shared, look at the bees. They are still working hard as long as they can. Some straw flowers, I've been picking these. I love straw flowers. And there's two left. That's all that's left, so I'll pick that. Daisies, all gone. They've been gone for a while. Autumn Joy. Get a little bit of that into the arrangement. Butterfly bush is pretty gone. These phlox have been amazing all summer. And you know, it's funny how you plant something not really sure how it's going to make its way into your garden until pretty soon it's just made a home in your garden. And these phlox, I can't tell you exactly what kind they are, but I had cut them back and I thought they were done, but I've done other phlox and this kind has been great. So if I can find what it is, I will put it here on the screen. But aren't they just lovely, the way that they curve with this bed? They've been great. Butterfly bush, gone, done. Of course, tomatoes are still trying, and I've got a bazillion green tomatoes inside. Recently did a little short about that, about just how to, bring them indoors to let them ripen and have tomatoes through December. So I will go through here. There's a lot of these zinnias. We've got the Thumbelina ones here at the end where there's some that have died back, but some are still just absolutely gorgeous. And then we have, of course, fallen leaves in between all of it. And then get my shadow out of the way here. We have the, oh gosh, it just went out of my head what these are called. I'll think of it. I'll put it on there, or I'll tell you in a second here as we keep walking. Now this bed is pretty much done. There's a few coneflowers in here in between that I will gather up, and look at these guys down here. But for the most part, they are done. Look at this lovely. Ugh. And then I have left all of these. Normally I would have cut this back by now, but let me see if I can zoom in and you can see my friend Samantha the spider. Yep, there she is. I have left them up for her because she is so beautiful. And she has just kind of made her home to the point that I've actually named her. So yeah, there is that in this bed. And then look at all these beautiful yellow zinnias, and I think they'll look really nice in that little ceramic pot. There is lavender to be gathered, more of the marigolds. They go on. And over here, well, we have our fountain, which I still have to talk to you about that. We had a little mishap with our fountain going in, but hopefully that's going to be resolved soon. We've got more calendula over here that is still thriving. It's just absolutely beautiful. So we'll be cutting some of those for our bouquet. There we go. And I just heard the other day, who was telling me about that? About that you can make pesto out of these leaves. Nasturtium, had to think there for a minute, had a little brain blurb. But yeah, my friend Linda Votter, she was talking the other day on her YouTube channel about how you could make pesto out of nasturtium. I better quickly find that out because there's not much time left. But I found that nasturtium is not the greatest. Look at these, they're just gorgeous. I just love these in my barrels here. They do not make the greatest cut flowers, but they are delicious. And look at that Gerber daisy, not Gerber, Ganzenia. And then I'm going to start cutting. We'll go back over to the table together once I have them cut. But look at these guys, just so many little beauties that will add pops of color as we make our bouquets and see what comes together for this bouquet that we will make here in just a minute. Okay, so here we have all of these beauties, and it just is something. I think about, like, even with my zinnias, and as I do these final bouquets, you know, it's just remembering the joy that they've brought me all summer long, which has been tremendous. It always is. And again, to say goodbye at the end of the season. And this is what I'm talking about, like with the calendula here, how you can see the little bud. I captured the bud, and now I'm going to put that in here, and hopefully it still has a chance to bloom as well. Yeah, just remembering the joy that these all brought me, and you know, I will again next year. One of the things I highly recommend this time of year is to walk around your garden with your, I also like to blow off the bugs. Good thing to do is blow off the bugs as you see them, and even if you don't see them, because they will end up in your house or whoever you're giving your flowers to. And while it's nice to give gifts, it's not nice to give a bunch of bugs to somebody. You know what I'm saying? And so, look at that. Is that a beauty or what? Let me just cut this guy off. Yeah, so just what I was going to say is walk around your garden and with your video camera and take pictures of just different elements of your garden. What were your failures? What worked well? What didn't work well? You know, some years with calendula, I will get these little red spider mites on them that are just awful. And this year, for whatever reason, they were not around. Maybe the grasshoppers ate them. I don't know. But they did not bother us this year. And so that was really a cool thing. One thing also for your arrangements, and I have plenty so I won't need it, if you have a sparse amount of flowers and a bigger vase, there's a thing called a frog, which is, I can't find mine anywhere. Of course, it's always there when you don't need it, but it's this little spindly thing, and I'll put a link to it below so you can see what I mean. But it's a great thing to have if you have just a few flowers that you want to share. Now look at that. Look at the leaves on that one. I'm going to leave them because they're just gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. And I think that it will help to enhance this bouquet. Where others just need to come off, because some of these are pretty short. They're short stemmed to begin with. And this actually, as I'm looking at this calendula, it's got quite a few little bugs on it. So I'm going to try to just slip them off. I think I can for the most. And just blowing into them will help tremendously. What was I going to say? So these shorter ones are going into the ceramic one because they are so short. Just little short guys and gals that are going into this. And I may shorten this one too. I'm going to pull that up there. Yeah. So that's, I'll just keep going along here. There's something so therapeutic about this. And I love the smell. A lot of it's the marigolds of them on my hands is just amazing. So that adds to the therapeuticness. And sometimes there's enough bugs, like I was saying, especially on calendula. Calendula is very sticky, and the bugs, I may not use that flower. I may just do a little flower arrangement outdoors and not indoors because I don't want them in my house. There's enough, you know, it's funny, this time of year, there's a lot of little bugs that end up in the house. And I don't know, this year there seems to be 100 flies everywhere. All right, and some of these are not perfect because they're at the end of the season, but that almost makes them more precious to me. I don't know why, but it does. And look, there's that zinnia I was talking about with the red. Oh my goodness, I'll have to get a real close-up picture of that because I love it so much. It's a little too tall, but I want to put it in here to really highlight it. I think that's the thing too, of what flowers do you want to highlight in your arrangements. Let's see, here's that Autumn Joy. Just gonna stick in there for a little color. And if this calendula, I don't know, the couple of these calendulas are just not worth it, I don't think. All right. So I will just keep going. Now some, like this coneflower, it's so lovely. I may just dry this. I think I'm going to dry this one because it's just past its prime, to be sure. And I will dry that one. Get this in here. All right, there we go, just like this. It is the last bouquets of the season coming to life. And I hope that your garden has given you so much joy this summer. I will be back next week to talk about putting the garden to bed. Because while it would be nice to say, oh yeah, I'm just going to do these bouquets and that's the end of it. Oh, there's a whole bunch of work that has to get done here in the next week. As soon as the frost comes. I've been starting to do some of it, but what I will do is cut down most of the beds, and then I will put compost down, and we'll talk about that next week as I do that. But I will continue to, and I might even get another vase for these zinnias because I love them so much. All right, that is it. I will come back and show you the final in just a few minutes. Let me give you one more above the flowers look. I got some verbena too that I'd forgotten in my sweet peas. I forgot about those too hanging on the vine. And the lavender, there it is. It smells, my hands smell so good right now. So there it is. There is the finished result for this moment. And there we are. The flowers that I wanted to share with you today. They smell so good. My hands again smell so good between the marigolds and the lavender and all of it. I just want to encourage you to think about flowers in your life and the role that they play. As we say goodbye to our gardens, they're gone but not forgotten. Some flowers we dry, some flowers we just have for a short little while, and some we can get seeds out of for next year. So I would love to know in the comments, what are your favorite flowers to grow? What empowers you when you're growing flowers or just getting flowers or giving flowers? The role that they play in your life and how you can honor them and yourself as you go. That's it for this week, my friend. I want to thank you so much for joining me. And next week, it's garden cleanup time and time to put the garden to bed. Until then, have a really good week, and remember that onward we grow together. Take good care. Thanks for growing with us, and we will see you next time. And in the meantime, be sure to like, comment, let us know what really resonated for you in this video, and then of course be sure to subscribe at no cost to you and be updated when we have new videos up to play.